Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you're at. And I'm here with another video. I want to say thank you to everybody that welcome back. I want to say thank you to everybody that actually have subscribed. And if you have not, I would really appreciate you do so. Those of you that the first time, I want to say welcome as well. And also, I would really appreciate it all of you take a minute and click the like button below the video. That helps me get the video out to more people, which also helps a lot of people to see this video as well. So really appreciate with that. So what actually we are going to suspect today? Let's actually first look at what happened for the last, I would say, 9-10 hours. As we can see, for the about 9-10 hours, we kind of traded slightly sideways between the 45 and 44,000, and a lot of people but we are having this tax vote today. So what are we suspecting out of that? First of all, I want to actually let's kind of look at this and identify who's getting affected with what. Now, as we all know, market makers, end of the day, are the ones that actually making decision what goes where. And I believe all of you can agree with that. Who are the market makers? Market makers are the trading platforms. Are number one. They can actually see your stop loss entries. They can also see your limit take profit entries. They can see only pretty much see everything, and they can choose what goes and what goes not when they do that quick tail of the candle that actually takes about 3 seconds up and down. And then you can, but my order was never picked up. But it was but the stop loss I actually did activate. Those are purposely designed for that purpose. So market makers, one of the market makers are actually your trading platforms. Now, second group of market makers actually banks, mutual fund companies that trade on behalf of people, and anything similar to that. Also, big corporations that Elon Musk's corporations that actually bought and hold or etc. Then behind them comes in whales. Whales are people that actually have $1 million or more dollars in assets, and they're trading a lot of them do trade on their huge margins. So those are primarily who makes the price go up. You and me, when we are trading at $1,000, 2,000, 3, 5, or $10,000, we barely make a dent in direction where something goes. So now, since we kind of have an idea who's a market maker and who's the traders and retail traders, let's actually think about this. If this bill goes through, and a lot of people believe it will go through, um, I personally believe that it probably will go through, but not for long. That we're gonna actually be bombarded with all that stuff. See, mutual fund companies, they don't care about taxes because they run on their corporation. They're trading people's money, and end of the day, um, people are the one getting stuck with a tax bill. So they don't care about it. So they'll continue trading and running wherever they want. Now, two, before the noon time, we might have a possible small pump. Now, after the new, when the news hits and becomes no longer a news, becomes a reality, we most likely will see a drop and depends how big of a drop market makers want to make that a reality. So we understand mutual funds not. Now, mutual funds that actually work on the IRAs and etc., they don't care either. So who cares? Corporations, all corporations, when they trade, they do not fall under that particular tax law of what I forgot what it's called. Um, Jeez, um, because they're not consider because for a corporation that's not considered as an asset. It is as jeez, I forgot that word. Because in corporation, it's all about income, profit, and loss. So you made a profit, you put on books. You made a loss, you put on the books. You do write-offs on all expenses, and end of the day, the balance that left is was being taxed based on the tax bracket. Now that's a C corporation. With S corporation, what's left over is being rolled over to your personal tax return. And then your personal tax return you pay based on your tax bracket. That's simply how it works. And that's why I believe every single trader that trades crypto and thinking of taking any profit within a year should be doing that under a corporation, should never be doing that under sole proprietorship or any other form that is not an S corp. So I hope that kind of gets in some understanding. So now corporations don't care; they won't drop the price of the market unless um trading platforms do or etc. Again, trading platforms. Most of them are run under corporations as well. They don't care about this tax and won't impact them either. So who is actually getting impacted or impacted by this tax regulation they're trying to put in place? Actually, regular people that have no clue how to plan and how the taxes work. Primarily, these are the people that actually will be screwed the most in this plan. And these are the people that don't have an understanding. They cannot understand how the taxes really runs, how it actually operates, how it's being calculated, and what it actually is. They're the ones that are going to panic the most. Now, as I said yesterday, crypto heavily being manipulated by market makers, and today I'm not seeing yet that heavy manipulation. We kind of more roaming around. We did had at night a little bit of manipulation of actually quite a bit of manipulation. Then we had around 6 o'clock manipulation, and there's one at 7. But pretty much we right now are kind of running a little bit loose. That means if market makers will not step in to hold a price, and regular people like you and me will panic, and we will run to hide into the mountains and sell off our portfolios, we might impact the price a little bit, which again can start a snowball effect. Where you start a small snowball on top of the mountain, you start rolling it, and then it goes down the hill. By the time it gets to the bottom of the hill, it becomes a house-sized ball, or even bigger. So that's the effect that actually we might see today as well. So definitely watch your crypto, watch your coins, see what's going on. And if you start seeing anything that actually is not in your favor, make wise decisions. So that's the way I'm seeing. I personally believe we need to spread the word and let people know that trading under a corporation is a solution to actually leave those guys at a Capitol Hill with not so successful plan out because they don't think when they plan. Very rarely I seen government think. at all. Usually they just act like that horny guy at the club. He doesn't think, he just acts, and so do those guys at Capitol Hill. They Most of them don't think. They just want something. They go with force to get it, and when they get it, they cannot pretend like nothing happened when it fails, like it was okay. It's our money, and it was okay. Wow, okay, wow. I guess it's okay to destroy businesses, destroy families. It's just okay on on their point of view. So what actually we're seeing right now? We're seeing if you look at the on a minute chart, we see some ups and downs. We also see this big W, which you guys do know. W's have a tendency to continue to go up on a 15-minute chart. We see also a big W, which also again tend to see to push up. But what if the 12 o'clock hits or when we're sharp? Because I tried finding on Google finding what time is actually that meeting and if there's a link to watch it live, and I have been unsuccessful so far. As I mentioned, we still have that 48,000 target, and we're actually will make a decision. We're going up or we bouncing back. If we're not going to make it to 48,000, which the chance of us making to the 48,000 is very slim, but again, Sundays have shown some amazing miracles in the past, but also needs to pump another $3,000 in order to make it to 48,000. So there is a possibility. It's just not big, especially with this tax news. But it can be done. If not, then definitely we all need to prepare that is going to be ahead, and then we're going to turn around and come down. We are slowly breaking to the positive. The Bitcoin have turned green since a reset, which you guys do know. A lot of crypto might do the same. SHIB has had some growth. It is then it came down, and it's kind of trading sideways. But it did had a nice growth all the way almost to 0.0088. Um, Sell is slowly actually pushing up as well, but it all kind of pushed back because of possibly due to everybody's waiting about what's going to happen. Are they going to vote in or out the tax, the crypto or the digital currency tax? Which, if you guys go back and watch my tax video, I just don't understand on which grounds. I just don't understand which grounds, and that's why when I said, are they gonna? Yeah, they're probably going to vote it in. But a couple of years later, when they go back and review, they'll put their tails between their legs and say it's okay. We need to remove it. But how many people will get damaged with that? So, Dent had a nice pump. Um, but it still has quite a bit to go. It has a possibility to go up to 0037, target 1, target 2, 00422, and then target 3 is about 004748, somewhere in that area. So honestly, I'm looking at the dent and I'm like, hey, I said the same thing yesterday. Why I was not in it? I don't know. Sometimes you kind of fly by and don't get in. Um, it got slowed down like everything else. Switch to the U.S. market, and the U.S. market just doesn't feel any confidence, especially with this tax invasion. Let's call it that way, tax invasion. Because at the end of the day, you and I know tax is not really legal in this country because they were only designed to get the country through the World War, and then when that war was ended and they recovered the losses, they kind of said, we'll continue. We'll have that extra income. And so they continued. They never stopped, like they promised, to only have the tax for 20 years. Or was it that? Or there was that 10-year limit, something like that. But that limit just continued till today. So that is another coin that actually had some pumps since their closure, about 2%. It was actually higher, but then, as everything else, it's trading sideways, waiting what will happen next. Remember last night I mentioned about a coin that I don't see that I traded quite a bit in the past? It's called Vito, or that's how I VTHO. This coin heavily traded by whales. That's why a lot of times when everything else moves, it just doesn't move nowhere. But then when there's enough of traders come in and start trading it, it actually has some potential of moving. Also because it is a cheap coin, your money gains or losses move a lot faster and have a huge impact just with a small move. So we also seen it has some serious punches. I remember being in the trade when this coin hit almost 3 cents, and I actually said, it's going to get 5 cents. It never did, and then it came down, and I believe I closed it at 0.019 and wished in that I should have closed it sooner. That was in March, I believe. So yeah, this is one other coin. It is not available on Binance Futures, but it is available only in spot. It's also available on Binance US. On Binance US, you don't have these many zeros, so it's kind of you kind of definitely put in 1,000 in, you kind of definitely feel every single time it slightly moves compared to in futures. So that's with Vito. Um, what else? Nothing much has been moving overall other than the dent that actually would be worthwhile to be in. Um, yeah, and some of these coins, still have like SHIB has not make it all the way to the top where it should. So we'll see what happens today. Honestly, I would actually probably watch the market and kind of hold yourself on the brakes until about 2 o'clock, 1 or 2 o'clock afternoon New York time, when those vote goes through, and then see what the market does. Don't be surprised if the market picks up in one direction and then 15, 20 minutes later turns around goes in the opposite direction. A lot of times they're using that to kind of mislead people into saying, example, we're going up. So people start jumping in and then immediately they turn it around and start cashing out their profits. And we get left behind with a bunch of losses. So don't fall in that trap. you know, give it at least a half hour to an hour to be sure that the market actually is stable and it is holding its direction strong. And then, make those decisions what you do, because a lot of times when something like that happens where it impacts general public, um, pocket, general public can be also be taken advantage by market makers at the same time. So I recommend every single one of you be wise, be smart. Today, if it wouldn't be any of that tax thing, today would have been a nice, beautiful day for trading and turning into some profits into the pocket. But with that, I want you guys to be careful. That is about all I have to say, and I do have a comment. Mr. Stacy, good input, Slavic. Yes, trading via a corporation, of course, long-term holders keep your nano ledger or other quota storage and take it. Crystal tax country. Yes, Stacy, I agree with you, and honestly, myself, I'm actually looking at all this, and I am thinking of maybe leaving the country because if this thing gets out of hand, because see, right now they're trying to convert this into where they can tax us at 34%, I believe. But then when they see that they can get away with that, they'll say, you know what? Why not 50? Why not 60? And see, government, they don't care. They can screw and screw with you as much as they want. At the end of the day, they won't even ask for an apology when they screw it up to a point where it becomes no fun to anybody. Hey, Sarab, how's it going? Yes, so today is the time of the vote, I believe. Yes, Stacy, that's what I'm hearing, but I have not been able to find on Google confirmation as well as link so I can watch it live because that is something that definitely would want to watch live so I can actually get some between the lines if it's possible to see what they're not saying because everything is about what they're not saying because what they're saying everybody knows. What they're not saying is the secret. So yeah, as we entered into the U.S. Market morning, people are waking up. That's why we will see some ups and downs. But 12 o'clock in New York Times is the time to be extra careful. I personally, unless you have a direct target of a take profit and are not going to be using a stop loss and you're going to be watching your trade really closely with very small fees. Otherwise, I would not recommend to be in the trade during that time until it all done and at least half hour to an hour passed and everything has cooled down because it will be impacting people like I mentioned before. Those that don't understand taxation system, do not understand it in detail, they're going to be the ones that are going to be panicking the most and running and abandoning the ship, and that might actually impact where we going with crypto today for the rest of the day. Blessings to all, and talk to you guys soon.